In this hustle culture we're all in, we love to celebrate extreme focus. We give it this cool name, monk mode, that time when we just shut out the world to get something incredible done. But there's a razor-thin line between that kind of productive fire and, well, a destructive inferno. So let's get into it and figure out exactly where that line is. I want to start with a really direct, really serious question. I want you to think about your own life, right now. All those late nights, that constant pressure to push forward. Are you actually building something great? Or are you on a path to a complete and total collapse? It's a huge distinction. And honestly, your health, both mental and physical, really depends on you getting this right.
To really wrap our heads around the difference, let's use a metaphor that I think is pretty powerful. Fire. Think about it. Intense effort is a lot like fire. It can be this incredible tool for creation, for forging something new. Or it can be an unstoppable force of pure destruction. It really all comes down to one thing: control.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have monk mode. Think of it like a controlled forge. A blacksmith using intense, focused heat to create something strong, something beautiful. It's intentional. It has a purpose. But on the other side, that's burnout. And that's a raging house fire. It's just chaos, completely uncontrolled. And it leaves nothing but ash in its wake. One builds, the other completely demolishes. So what is actually happening in our bodies that makes one fire build us up and the other burn everything down? Well, the answer is in the type of stress you're putting yourself under. Because believe it or not all stress is bad for you.
Okay, so first up, the good stuff, eustress. You can think of this as the biological engine behind monk mode. It's what happens when you take on a challenge that you know you can handle. Your brain releases hormones like adrenaline that actually sharpen your focus. It's that in-the-zone feeling when you're rising to an occasion. But the key words here are temporary and manageable. It's a type of stress that actually makes you stronger.
And then you've got its evil twin, distress. This is the fuel for burnout. This is what happens when the stress is no longer temporary. It's not manageable anymore. It's prolonged, it's excessive, and you start to feel like you're just drowning. Your body just wasn't designed to handle this state for long periods, and it very quickly becomes toxic, leading to total, crushing exhaustion.
And when I say toxic, I mean that literally. This isn't just a vague feeling of being overwhelmed, no. Prolonged distress, what we call burnout, causes actual physical damage to your most important organ, your brain.
The main villain in this story is a hormone called cortisol. Now, in short bursts, cortisol is a lifesaver. It's your body's fight-or-flight response. But the problem is, when that response system gets stuck in the on position for weeks or months at a time, cortisol just floods your system and it essentially starts to corrode you from the inside out.
And this just shows you the damage. And I'm not exaggerating, chronically high cortisol literally shrinks your hippocampus. That's the part of your brain that's vital for memory. It weakens the connections in your prefrontal cortex, which is your hub for decision-making and planning. This is the real biological reason for brain fog, for that inability to focus, for the emotional roller coaster that comes with burnout. It's your brain's hardware being physically damaged. Have you ever had that feeling where you are completely bone-deep exhausted, but the second your head hits the pillow, your mind is racing and you just can't sleep? That is a classic textbook sign of burnout. It's something called HPA axis dysfunction. It basically means your body's stress response system is so fried that it forgets how to turn off. And you're left in this awful state, too tired to function, but way too wired to rest.
Okay, that was a lot of bad news, but here's the good news. This is preventable. And the solution is actually way simpler than you might think. It's all about fundamentally changing how we look at rest. And that brings us to the power of the pause. This next idea might just be the most important concept for any high achiever to really get. We're all taught that doing nothing is wasted time, right? But the neuroscience shows that the complete opposite is true. I call it the recovery paradox. Your brain often does its most critical work when you are consciously doing nothing at all. So while you're daydreaming or taking a walk or just staring out a window, this part of your brain called the default mode network kicks into high gear. Think of it as your brain's cleanup and creative crew. It's not shutting down. It's actively processing all the information from your day. It's repairing neurons that were damaged by hard work. It's consolidating your memories so you can actually recall them later. And, this is the best part, it's making those brilliant, unexpected connections that lead to your best ideas. Recovery isn't the absence of work. It's an essential part of it.
Let's just pause on this for a second, because this is so incredibly important.
If you don't schedule rest, your body will schedule an illness for you. This isn't just some fluffy motivational quote. It's a biological warning. Your body will eventually force the recovery you refuse to give it. And trust me, it usually won't be pretty when it does.
So how do we stay in that productive forge without letting it become a raging house fire? Well, it's all about being intentional. It's about being strategic. It's about working smart, not grinding yourself into dust.
So, here it is, your sustainable path forward. First, you've got to set clear boundaries. A real monk mode has a start date and an end date. Burnout is just a never-ending sprint with no finish line. Second, listen to your body. It will tell you when you're crossing the line. We'll cover what those signs are in just a second. And third, schedule your recovery. Literally, put it in your calendar just like you would a critical meeting. You have to treat rest as the non-negotiable that it truly is.
These are the red flags your body's going to wave. Please pay attention to them. Are you tired in a way that even a full night's sleep doesn't fix? Have you lost your passion for the work you used to love? Are you becoming more cynical, more detached? Is your sleep a total mess? Do you feel that constant brain fog we talked about? Listen, these are not signs of weakness. They are biological signals that you are running on toxic stress and you need to pull back immediately.
So let's end with this. We pour everything we have into our projects, into our goals, but the single most important project you will ever work on is you. So I want you to take an honest look at how you're working. Are you the blacksmith at the forge, carefully and intentionally building yourself up, or are you just standing back and letting it all burn to the ground?